Hello, everybody. Good evening. Am I correct? Was it just confirmed that Beyonce is there at the DNC tonight? Is she the surprise guest? I kind of guesstimated because if you listen to any rehearsals, that was Beyonce music. Certainly. So that was the ensemble or her group rehearsing. But let me know. Am I correct? Because I haven't been online for 15 minutes and I guess it has been confirmed. But thank you so much for joining me today. Tonight, again, of course, actual news. And we will review our most memorable moments from DNC day 3. So if you missed it, if you watched it, perhaps you missed out on something. So we're going to review what happened yesterday and then we're going to switch. I will start a new live stream on X and also or Twitter and YouTube for the final night of DNC. So tune in to watch. No commentary there. Straight live stream the way it is. And if you wish to join our watch party, you can still RSVP. So you can find it on my Twitter account, a form where you just leave your email and you get your link on how to watch us. If you want to DM me, if you follow me on Twitter, just DM me and I send you a link right away. So there we watch together, chit chat, comment, engage. Cameras are off, mics are off, but we're just, watching it together with like-minded people and real people. Okay, which is sort of like a rarity now, rare commodity. So again, thank you for joining. Let's start right away. I will go from most important news, DNC, to least important news, whatever we catch up until 9 p.m. So that's the time we have. Tomorrow, since the DNC is over, we go back to our normal format where I'm live for 1 hour plus, sometimes 2 hours, and we're gonna dive tomorrow in international politics. So more on the Middle East, more on Ukraine and Russia, more on Indo-Pacific. I have readouts, I have videos, I have a bunch of news for you, but I don't want to overwhelm you tonight before you go into DNC. So it's really, our deservingly so main topic today. It's a historic night, so I don't want to divert from that, but there are developments. So I want to share that tomorrow and dive into detail. Also, I've heard today about Trump's plans if he became a president. Regarding Pentagon that are quite alarming. So I'll do my proper research and report on that tomorrow too. Again, some backlash that I'm not reporting on Trump's clips. I have a clip for you today. If we're gonna come down to that, I'll show it to you. He was at the border today, had a press conference where he lied about statistics, lied about border crossings. I certainly or anybody who does cover the White House and has access to the press office, we know that the illegal border crossings went down by more than 55% since President Biden has issued executive order after that failed border deal that Trump literally personally sabotaged. So since President Biden stepped in and issued that executive order, illegal crossings are down. Now today was Trump was making up statistics that the rape was up, and which is not really, might be in that town, but not directly connected to illegal border crossings. He blamed Kamala Harris on that. Certainly she's not the president. Certainly she was never in charge of that or rape statistics. And then he announced that he wants to promote death penalty for any type of rapists or people who are do illegal stuff, as he said. And I have a clip for that. If you want to watch it, tell me, I'll show it to you. My question is, how ironic, very ironic. Is he volunteering first? Because we do know, right? There were court cases filed and then dismissed because he gave those girls money and threatened them. So how ironic that he is the one to introduce those who are raping minors and are convicts and doing illegal stuff, as he says. Very interesting that it does come from him. Here, my local news didn't report his remarks, just the mother of the victim that spoke. Exactly. Mine didn't either. And, at this point, I think, and thank you, Keith and Brendan, at this point, I think local news are more truthful than the mainstream media, because mainstream media fits and feeds off of Trump stories. And I literally was bombarded with the MAGAville today. I guess they found my post from yesterday where I said I'm not going to report on this poop throwing thing. And they're like, well, he's literally at the border. I said, okay, what are the news? What is the news? Yeah, but there's a victim mother speaking. I said, okay, what is the news? Yeah, but he is saying he did it. What is the news? And nobody could answer me what the news is. Yeah, he used a poor victim as a prop, same as he used a Bible upside down to take pictures with during Black Lives Matter. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. It is scary. And it's absolutely not truthful. So if I'm reporting on something and he is citing statistics, I have to fact check. Unless I'm doing that, I should not be spreading that information because it is misinformation. And what it does is, specifically when we talk about immigration, if he says, right, what he states, I will deport all illegals, because he assumes that all illegals are rapists, criminal people. Now, what if, just backtrack, President Obama, right? Former President Obama. His mother was here, didn't have a green card, didn't have a citizenship up until later. There are people who are caught in weird or specific situations, like the kids of the dreamers and other categories that are here. It is impossible for them to be legal because of the circumstances. Now, since the executive order that President Biden has issued in May, and I receive my updates and my press briefings from the USCIS, right? The immigration, so many had filed on day one when they were able to file for becoming legal here, right? Those who are married to U.S. citizens but could not file for citizenship, even though they're married to U.S. citizens and have kids who are U.S. citizens, because they entered illegally and they're lacking this. If you know, I-94 is the form you get when you enter across the border. They're lacking this I-94, so they could never become legal. So if we start spreading information, this misinformation that Trump will deport all illegals, it will literally, that's what I said yesterday, it will literally put every person of color in a state of danger, emergency, and fear. Because if they would even attempt to take everybody out who's here legal, how are they going to differentiate who's legal, who's not legal? Are they going to check visas and dates or passports? No. And if you state something like that we will deport all the Mexican, all the Latinos, you literally put, undeservingly so, truthful, good people in the state of emergency and fear for their lives. And this is scary. And this has nothing to do with truthful information. So I really want us to be careful, specifically now. What is it, 75 days before the election? Let's be careful. Let's be mindful. Let's keep our head on a swivel. The biggest news today, aside from VP Harris becoming the official nominee tonight, and by the way, I have her speech. I just received it 10 minutes ago. It's a very good one. Very personal, very straightforward. Not what she did, not even the speeches she did before, although I loved them. Different direction. So stay tuned. Very presidential, very like, ta-da, in your face. Love it. And I'm sure the delivery will be deserving. So, but 75 days before the election, let's be mindful. Again, the biggest news today, aside from VP Harris becoming the official nominee, was that USS has arrived in the Middle East area. In the, I have a readout actually. Let me present it to you before we dive into RNC Day 3. Do I have that on my Twitter now? Okay, so then. Okay, just a second. And I know you commented on that too. So USS Lincoln Carrier Strike Group has arrived in the U.S. Central Command area of operations. This is per Pentagon. The Lincoln Group joins the USS Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group in the region. Secretary of Defense Austin ordered the Lincoln to accelerate its deployment to Central Command earlier this month. The secretary ordered the plus up of U.S. forces in the region as part of the broad adjustments to U.S. military posture. So there's still the main goal is de-escalation, preventing anything, but it's a very big development that in that Central Command area, two major strike groups, or let me refer correctly, strike groups are there. If you just would imagine or Google the amount of it, and Keith, I think you posted the link um, under my post with the link to Wikipedia, just to visualize what that means. It's very big news. It's the biggest news today. So let's keep our head on a swivel. Now, what I'm hearing from former Pentagon people that were very high in the rankings, that Trump is planning to literally fire the entire Pentagon, or how we put it, senior officials at the Pentagon. He wants to replace them right away, which would be huge if he were to be elected, specifically as we're dealing with Indo-Pacific, as we're dealing with the Middle East, as we're dealing with Ukraine, and Europe in general, right, with Balkans and all. We dive into that more tomorrow, because also the head of CIA is in the Balkan area. There are many things are happening, so I will dive into detail tomorrow, not to divert your attention from the DNC, but those are the biggest news. And whatever he stands and lies about at the border, with the prop being, unfortunately, a victim that suffered, that is not news. Same as he's calling up for a conference tomorrow, and this warm RFK Jr. guy stepping out certainly tomorrow, and then presenting that as big news, and then joining Trump campaign. He's going to give him his votes back, those 5% that he could never accomplish. And who knows where those 5% will land. I'm sure, if not the majority, but percentage will go to Kamala Harris. So, those are not news. Those are just attempts to drive away your attention from the DNC. Today, all this, online world is talking about who is the secret guest at the DNC. So Trump issues an email and says, tomorrow I'm going to have a secret guest at my press conference, which is RFK, right? Who certainly is rumored to become the Secretary of Health. So, it's just like, it is not news. Again, back to basics. It is not news, and it's not newsworthy, and it's not informing you. My main intention, as I said yesterday, is to inform you. Period. End of story. Not to misinform you, not to entertain you, but to inform you. Yes, I do a couple of jokes here and there. I post, some things, and I say, oh my God, how creepy is that, on my X or Twitter account. Yeah, we're all human. Sometimes laughing, entertainment is fine. But altogether, let's be very mindful, because the hatred that he talks about, or that the propaganda that he distributes, hurts people. It hurts certain demographics. And I would be the last person who would benefit that agenda. Trump is, what is it? I don't think he has the power to do that, does he? For the Pentagon? Yeah, unfortunately, that's what I hear, literally from Ben Hodges, that president does have the authority. Trump is doing a thing tonight at his hotel in Chicago. I think golden showers. He's live truthing his speech. Yeah, he is tweeting. He live tweeting. I think I have his. Yeah, that's the thing here. I will be live play-by-play on Truth Social Kamala Harris speech tonight. So now he's a reporter. He's a stenographer. It's upsetting. It's just sad. All of it is just very, very sad. Also was here that Donald Trump will host an awards gala to celebrate January 6th insurrectionists. All of it is disgusting. Even that type of news. There were people who were hurt. There are families whose fathers, husbands, and brothers passed away, the police officers. And now we're celebrating those January 6 people. All those news have consequences, and that is my whole point. It's not entertaining, it's not funny, it's just it started being disgusting a very long time ago. Now, speaking of Project 2025, yesterday, the first clip from the DNC day 3 that I want to show you is Cory Booker, right, from New Jersey. He talked about Project 2025 in a fun way, so take a look.
If Donald Trump has his way, he's going to push through their extreme agenda. Project 1825. I'm sorry. I roll that back. I got that wrong. Project 1925. Oh, I'm sorry. Project 2025. That poisonous agenda where every single state will be in a state of crisis.
Exactly, right? And every single subgroup would be in a state of emergency and fear. Also, the SNL's Keenan, right? What's his name? The correct name? Keenan Thompson also talked about Project 2025. They did a segment yesterday on that, but mainly he did announce a website where you can be informed about Project 2025. Take a look.
Just remember, everything that we just talked about is very real. It is in this book. You can read it online at kamalaharris.com/Project 2025. And most importantly, you can stop it from ever happening by electing Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States.
Mic drop, book drop. And that is the book you can certainly drop. That I think is the main message. So if you want to, first of all, educate yourself, right? You can open Kamala Harris and her website and check out Project 2025, but also forward it to your friends, to your undecided family members, or those who are trying to debate you that it's not true, right? Today I saw a fact check, which was bonkers, from CNN, and they said, Trump is repeatedly stating that he has nothing to do with Project 2025. Meanwhile, the Democrats are doing the entire DNC about Project 2025. I'm like, girl, please, take several seats. When you look in the mirror and you put your makeup on, because it looks like you do it yourself, what do you see? Do you see that face that you knew before? Like, how do you deal with yourself if you keep lying and calling it a fact check? Weird. So Hakeem Jeffries had a perfect, description for what it feels like to have Trump back.
Donald Trump is like an old boyfriend who you broke up with, but he just won't go away.
Didn't we all had that boyfriend, girlfriend, right? Who would be just checking up on you and coming back like a boomerang. Go. We broke up for a reason. Jesus, you also molested us. Come on, man. Come on. But this part was my favorite from Hakeem Jeffries.
Kamala Harris and House Democrats will protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect Medicaid, protect the Affordable Care Act, protect working families, protect small businesses, protect the middle class, protect free enterprise, protect our children, protect our seniors, protect our veterans, protect our unions, protect our dreamers, and always protect a woman's freedom to make her own reproductive health care decisions. The extreme MAGA Republicans want to divide.
Oh, am I back? Okay, I'm back. Thank you for being here. I knocked myself out for no reason. So the video I wanted to show you, this is today, right? This is Trump today at the border. Check out him and also check out those that are right next to him.
We will impose tough new sentences on illegal alien criminals. These include 10-year mandatory minimum sentence for anyone guilty of human.
So when he's reciting his whatever is written for him before he, reels off, he has those people standing right next to him, right? Those Texas or here in Arizona, those police officers and those are that who are next to him. So one of those folks was yesterday at the DNC. If you missed it, here you go.
When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail.
And I'm so happy that this fellow was there yesterday, because I'm going to show you that video right next to Trump's video at the border every freaking single time. You can count on it. So any video of him at the border saying whatever will be followed by this gentleman here, because that is the fact check we need. This is the guy who was right here next to him. Also the owner of Twitter that can barely keep it lately. When he was also at the border with the cowboy hat reverse, right? Didn't know how to wear it. Also was facing the same people, right? And now they're speaking out that everything was sort of planned. So now former President Clinton. People say that his speech was boring or whatever, but listen, Clinton is from the 90s. It was not a clickbait era. He was always going off the teleprompter. He is the explainer in chief, and he did fact check Donald Trump yesterday. He did the work that CNN was refusing to do. But listen to an excerpt. Whoop, here we go.
But here's what I want you to know. If you vote for this team, if you can get them elected and let them bring in this breath of fresh air, you will be proud of it for the rest of your life. Your children will be proud of it. Your grandchildren will be proud of it.
It was altogether a fantastic speech. I was so happy to see him back. I saw him, yesterday, if you were at the watch party, I described the situation where I saw him recently. But still very presidential. It's been, 23 years? I loved it. I personally loved it. This is not the guy that would, rally everybody and we're going to stand up and balloons and everything. This was never Clinton. I mean, let's just recall. But if you want to throw up for 16 seconds, here is Lindsey Graham reacting to the speech by Clinton.
Well, here's my overall thought. Bill Clinton, after all these years, is still full of crap. I know him well. I was an impeachment manager. He described what Biden inherited. He will mislead you. Bill Clinton will look you in the eye and lie to you.
Yeah, Bill Clinton is a bit older and slower with but his words, exactly. That is my whole point. He is older. Yeah, he's 78. And there are different 78s, right? And certainly presidency ages you. We know that. But he was great. And he was Bill Clinton. He was nobody else. He was Bill Clinton and nobody else. Nancy Pelosi. She was Nancy Pelosi and nobody else. I have a clip that kind of makes sense, where she encouraged everybody to vote Democrat all down the ballot. Take a look.
Now, in this election, we are called upon to do the same, to stand together, to reject autocracy, to choose democracy, and we will do so by electing a Democratic House with Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House, electing a Democratic Senate, electing Tim Walz as Vice President of the United States, and electing Kamala Harris as the President of the United States.
So help me God. If you're in the watch party, remind me to share something about Pelosi related, but that will be our private conversation. So talking about Josh Shapiro, as you know, he has been compared to Obama many times, the way he speaks. I'm not sure why. I don't see it, but maybe you do. But he did deliver a great speech yesterday. I'm still convinced that Tim Walz was the right decision for Kamala Harris. As much as we got to know him, as much as we got to love him and his family. But Josh Shapiro was great. Take a look.
Now it's on us. It's on us, my friends, to organize in our communities and on our For You pages.
Yeah, so you talk about For You pages, referring to social media, to organize to put the content out. By the way, the mainstream media is fuming at the DNC because content creators are given a whole like a podium right in front of the podium of the speaker, and the mainstream media is in the bleachers in the cheap seats. And they're fuming. They're like, oh my God, why are we here? And they're there, but the content creators are doing content. Now, I'm in the apps of all those content creators where they upload content, and majority of them is there for a good time. You know, like those videos where you go like, oh, this is a day in my life. I took a cappuccino, and then I had a cappuccino, took a cab, and then I'm here, and look at my hair, and look at my this. So it's the typical that. I guess they went by followers, but some of them, few of them, are focusing on policy, are focusing on politics, and are doing a tremendous job. Right? There are several creators that are doing an amazing job. Many of them, I mean, there are 200 of them. Many of them are in this sort of, are there for the good time and the experience, so to speak. More from Josh Shapiro. He talked about the importance of having hope. I guess that's where the Obama thing clicked in. No idea.
You all give me hope, and you all have the power. So let's use that power. Let's do the hard work necessary to win this election and write the next chapter in our American story. So are you ready to protect our rights? Are you ready to secure our freedoms? And are you ready to defend our democracy? And are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? America, let's get to work.
And Keith, to your point, I absolutely agree. He's forceful, but he lacks the charm. Yes, the sassiness, right? The swagger and the you know, like that, the Obama thing. Yes, that's what I think he is certainly lacking. Now, Amanda Gorman went viral. First of all, who discovered Amanda Gorman? First Lady Jill Biden. When she was, I think, judging either a poet competition, she saw Amanda there. She invited her back to the White House, and she made sure that she would speak at the inauguration, which launched her, of course, deservingly so, tremendous career. So she presented a new poem yesterday. Here's just a sneak peek.
We gather at this hallowed place because we believe in the American dream. We face a race that tests if this country we cherish shall perish from the earth, and if our earth shall perish from this country.
She is amazing. I mean, she's amazing in terms of what she does, but also how she does so. And like you look at people, and it's been 4 years, and she's so mature, and she's so presentable. She's so confident now. It's like really embracing everything. So good. Big kudos to her. Press needs to stop asking. Brandon is bordering on. You mean like dark Brandon? Which Brandon? You mean our Brandon here? Okay. Let's go to Oprah. So, surprising appearance. Oprah looks great. I mean, Ozempic or not, this is 70 years young. Mama is doing everything. So, it's fantastic. Take a look.
Work is not done. The work will never be done because freedom isn't free. America is an ongoing project. It requires commitment. It requires being open to the hard work and the heart work of democracy. And every now and then, it requires standing up to life's bullies.
Yeah, I'm trying to read comments. Then she spoke about divide and conquer. And we talk about this here a lot. Where the main strategy of MAGAville is to say, same as in Russia, by the way, same as in any like North Korea, Egypt, like any countries that are secluded with dictators, the narrative is always it's us against everybody. Everybody is waking up hating on us. Like there's in Russia, for instance, during the USSR, there was a radio show in the morning, and they said, wake up, the bastards overseas are, have been already not, whatever. It's the narrative. It feeds you every single time, every single chance that it's you against everybody. We're gonna win. Everybody hates us. Everybody. And see, happens with the MAGAville too. We are this, right? Here's our prophet. He will save us. Only he will. And everybody's against it. Meanwhile, we don't give a damn. I mean, are you waking up thinking about MAGAville? I don't. I wish everybody the best. I wish I could. I wish I could cover an election 50-50, Republican and Democrat, and we could talk about policies and what you like the best. I really wish so. I'm dreaming about this, like Christmas. But we can't do this. This is not a normal election. So here's Oprah talking about dividing and conquering.
There are people who want you to see our country as a nation of us against them. People who want to scare you, who want to rule you. People who'd have you believe that books are dangerous and assault rifles are safe. That there's a right way to worship and a wrong way to love. People who seek.
So, and that's her whole point, right? It's somehow your way is your way and there is a highway, right? And Brendan, I think, no, somebody else mentioned how MAGAs are, yes, I don't know your name, but Elon is a douche indeed. The way MAGAs are attacking Gus Walz is very low and crude. Indeed, I have a readout from our Brandon Marshall here, who wrote a message today, and I'll read it out when it comes to the harassment and how MAGAville is treating it. So Brandon sent a beautiful testament, so I'm going to read it out in a second. So let us fast forward a little bit since we have limited time. Pete Buttigieg, which I think will be a fabulous Secretary of State. Mark my words. And he will be a president one day. I hope not to be wrong with that, but I mean, for me, it's obvious.
We get to choose our president. We get to choose our policies, but most of all, we will choose a better politics. A politics that calls us to our better selves and offers us a better everyday. That is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz represents. That is what Democrats represent. That is what awaits us when America decides to end Trump's politics of darkness once and for all. That is what we choose when we embrace the leaders who are out there building bridges and reject the ones who are out there banning books. This is what we will work for every day to November and beyond. So let's go win this. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you.
I mean, That is to your point, Keith. I think it was your comment about Josh Shapiro and the sassiness. This guy has it. He has the charm. He has the charisma. Not Obama's charisma, but he's old. And this is fantastic. I love this guy. I mean, he's very knowledgeable. He goes on Fox News and handles their behind to them. He goes on CNN, does the same. Like, it's just great. You know, again, this is my opinion, but you saw him speak, and I do hope you agree. Then, of course, the biggest thing, and it was such a well introduction. Gwen Walls, there was a video, which I'm skipping now because of time, but it's in our email, our newsletter. If you don't know, please join. Let me shine this up if you don't know yet. So join our Substack thing. It's free. So she introduced Tim Walz. She talked about how they met when they were teachers, and their love story and their life story. Then the football team, I guess the football team, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's whom Tim Walz used to coach, right? They entered and they greeted him, and there's videos of them behind the stage having a fabulous time. So it was all loving. And then coming down to the main moment where Tim Walz accepted his nomination for vice president.
It's the honor of my life to accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States.
And I agree, Ruby. I do agree. My thing is, who would it be now, right? Blinken is amazing. If we could keep Anthony Blinken, that would be fabulous. I'm just saying, what if not? Who would be that person with diplomacy? Certainly my intention is, or my notion is, that Pete speaks several languages. He's well-spoken. He listens, which is the core of diplomacy, not to speak, but rather listen, and not to rush with your assessments, which really makes me so fearful if we end up, with a Megaville, because anybody who they would appoint would just do the reverse. It's just like, when we're facing so many threats at this time, it's so easy, right, to provoke somebody who is now ready to strike, right? Yeah, makes me all kinds of nervous, but let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So then Tim Walz mentioned a reason behind all gathering yesterday night, which is the love for the country.
All here tonight for one beautiful, simple reason. We love this country. So thank you to all of you here in Chicago and all of you watching at home tonight. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your determination. And most of all, thank you for bringing the joy to this fight.
So he also spoke about bringing common sense gun laws. He talked about feeding kids and taking care of kids rather than hiding books, but rather making sure that they have their lunch and breakfast and it is provided, same as he did accomplish that in Minnesota. So the speech it touched on different topics. And then the biggest highlight, what turned out to be, was his son, Gus Walz, who got up and started screaming, "This is my dad." He was so proud of his dad. Take a look.
World, and I love you. I'm letting you in on how we started a family, because this is a big part.
And this is so loving, and I said in the newsletter, if you read it, I said, can those folks be more lovable? I don't know. Let's find out. We're ready. We're ready to fall in love with them even more so. But it was, what I love about this DNC is that it is very personal and personable. And it presents this new ticket from a different light, right? And it gives us this wholesomeness and care that we are completely not getting from the other side. So it's really, I think it's great. It's different. And if somebody comes back and says, well, but if you're not talking about policies, where are the policies? You don't want to cover Trump because he's not doing policies, but you cover this because it's policies. I covered RNC every day. If you were here back then, or go back and read the newsletters, I had the clips. I covered the RNC every single day. And now I'm covering DNC. And DNC is not certainly about different types of policies. It's about giving everybody a chance to speak up in favor of the ticket and convince those who are voting, you guys, why this would be a better choice. So, yes, I assume Kamala Harris, and certainly press, and I would push them to bring up a program, right? Or the 100-day agenda for the first 100 days in office. What is she going to do, and how she aims to accomplish that? Given that certainly the Congress and Senate and all of it is pretty much divided, and how is she planning on going around it? But I don't think today we should not be covering DNC because they're not talking about policies. It's different agenda, different intention, right? So I want to read out a quote from Brandon Marshall, who's here, who wrote a statement to those MAGAville. I'm not gonna show you the disgusting stuff that they're saying about Gus Walz, who stood up and cheered for his dad. They called him weird. They called him all kinds of names. So here's Brandon. He goes, "Dear MAGA trolls and Trumpers on my friends list, I don't care who you are or how long we may have been friends. You're digesting vile and worst type of people on this planet. I watched the DNC last night, and during Tim Walz's speech, at one point, his 17-year-old son, who has disabilities, stood up and yelled, 'That's my dad,' during one moment that brought tears to my eyes. This morning, I checked my Twitter, and I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw just how many of them attacked and insulted Gus. It made me sick. He's 17. Leave him the hell alone. He showed passion. He showed the love he has for his father. As I scroll through all the Twitter posts, I just wanted to say this. I condemn this bullshit, and I hope you do well. You do as well. Nobody should make fun of a disabled person. We are all in the same charge family, so we know what it's like to have a kid with similar disabilities. He's 17. Leave him alone. As somebody like me who has disabilities as well, I grew up with those type of people calling me things like they are on Twitter right now. So I hope you reach down within your heart and find some compassion. If you don't have Twitter, then I implore you, go on there and see what I'm talking about. And I hope you find it as disgusting as I do. Nobody, and I mean nobody, on either side of the aisle should be making fun of people with disabilities. If you don't agree with me, you know where to unfriend button, where the unfriend button is. And also, I have a hope, a desire for one day, maybe in my lifetime, maybe not. I have a hope that we will put away all political differences, lay down our hatred for each other on both sides, and come together as Americans. Like what it says in the Constitution, we the people. Let's start acting like Americans. Let's start acting like we want to be unified. We are the greatest country on this earth. Our political differences have divided us for far too long. We want to make our future generations proud to be here. Let's give them that, because we can make that happen. I'm going to feature that with Brendan's permission, hopefully, in our newsletter tonight, because I'm very grateful that he shared it, and I hope you follow him. So, can you type in the comments how to follow you and what your tag is? Because I see Brendan here on YouTube, but please say that how to follow you on Twitter, so everybody can go ahead. And I'm not going to leave this live stream. It's already 9 p.m. before you follow Brandon. Bravo, Brandon. Yes, thank you, and thank you for trusting me to share your message. And I wanted to read it on the live stream and then put it in a newsletter, because the last thing we want is just to have somebody open their heart and soul and talk to us, and we just scroll it, on our timeline. Just because it's a long post, we don't read it. So yeah, well said, Brandon. You see? Okay, you can follow me. Yeah. So tell us how, Brandon. What is your follow thing? GOP started changing the zero-sum game type of party back when Newt Gingrich started messing around with his contract with America. Yeah, and all of it has things, right? It's the point where when we went through immigration, right, with my parents recently because they're Ukrainian. This idea that you have to you have to do an AIDS test and pass it, right? And then I was, because I'm nerdy, I started reading, why is it part of our immigration system? Just because Bush had the contract with the company that is supplying those tests, it still exists from back then, that when you file for your green cards, you're doing this AIDS tests, right? For people who are, in certain age groups. Like, what are you not going to let those people immigrate because they are testing? Like, what is the idea here? But certainly when you start seeing how policies do affect people and for how long and how difficult it is to get rid of something rather than install it, then certainly we become a bit more mindful. Yeah. Just type my name in, should come up. Not sure how to add my Twitter. Okay, so Brandon Marshall, go ahead, follow Brandon. Thank you, Brandon, for sharing your message. I truly, truly appreciate it. Before I go, last thing about the Megaville, and I'm certainly skipping a lot of things, which I will do tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a proper live stream that is longer. So Conways, right? The Kellyanne Conway and George Conway, they divorced. One is the MAGA thing. One is completely the anti-MAGA thing. And so they have a daughter who is a journalist and she's a social media creator. So Claudia Conway hosted a live stream with her mother and her father. And I want you to see how this is a young, quite inexperienced journalist, how she's fact-checking her mom.
Were there any speeches yesterday that you enjoyed as a very pro-Trump Republican who doesn't like Democrats?
Well, it's not that I don't like them. I don't understand them. That's a big difference. I don't understand that. I don't understand why they were all for Joe Biden, and then it took a 90-minute debate for everybody to admit what we've all seen all along. And Joe Biden begged for that debate. And to save his presidency,
I'm sorry.
really
I just had a question for you. If you enjoyed any speeches, I asked a positive question. Correct.
Did I enjoy any speeches?
Correct.
I mean, I appreciate any time that we are talking about unity, patriotism, love of country and democracy. But as content and analysts said today, the most popular word spoken last night, day one of the DNC, was Trump, 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 Trump.
Okay,
Instead of giving us the vision
you're skirting
piece,
the question again, and I know people.
I am telling you.
I know when you're on Fox News, they don't correct you, but I'm going to. So,
Claudia, that's just rude.
It's not rude. No, I'm
Yes,
trying
it is, and
to.
everybody
I'm trying to
can see
facilitate
that.
a flowing, respectful
That's doing a million
conversation.
things.
She's like, I know on Fox News they don't check you, but I will. And that went on for like half hour. Kudos to her. I know it's easier if it's your mom and your dad, but certainly that is the approach we need. That is the exact approach we need in an interview. To be polite, but to be straightforward. Listen, you're not answering the question. You're just blabbering whatever you know to blabber. So I wanted to show it to you. I really liked it. Look for me in a pic with a shirt that says charge. Okay, Dixie Chicks on. Okay, good. So we're running to the Dixie Chicks. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Tomorrow we're going to have our normal live stream that is longer, where we discuss the international politics and domestic and all those creatures. And if there are news about Trump and MAGA and RFK Jr., we certainly will mention that. If needed, we will fact check it. All right. Thank you so much. See you on the live stream of DNC day 4. Enjoy.